Hello again, first graders. So for math today, I'm going to send you a little bit on a scavenger hunt, and you'll understand that here in a minute. But we are going to move on to solid shapes. So in your book, you will go in and if you go on to page 703 and then you turn 2 pages, so you'll be on page 707 even though it doesn't say it, you're going to see some vocabulary cards, and these vocabulary cards can help you. But we're going to start learning about some solid shapes. So for example, we have cone, we have cube, we have a cylinder. Then it's going to talk about the faces, which is why it's kind of important you have these. So we'll talk about that. Then we have rectangular prism, and then we have three-dimensional shapes. Now, if I look at the next page, on the back, remember, it gives you definitions of those a little bit, or it talks to you about what those are. So you can look at those to help you. But today, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to have you watch the video to introduce our chapter 10, and then I'm going to show you our shapes, and then I'm going to tell you what your job is and give you some examples of what I found around my house. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to watch our video about our solid shapes for 10, and I will make it bigger screen as soon as I can get in there.
Hey, let's go on a kitchen adventure. When you look around your kitchen, what shapes do you see? Cubes, cones, cylinders? Let's take a look. First, let's go to the refrigerator. Hey, there are my cheese snacks. What shape are they? They're cubes. They have 6 faces and 8 vertices. I'm getting hungry. I wonder what's for dinner. Soup. And look, it's in the shape of a cylinder. It has 2 faces and no vertices. Now an ice cream cone sounds yummy for dessert. Look, the ice cream container is shaped like a cylinder too. And the ice cream cone is shaped like a cone, with 1 face and 1 vertex. Looking for shapes can be fun and delicious. What shapes can you find?
Alrighty, so in our thing here, we're going to be learning about different shapes. So the first one that I have is a sphere. Okay, so we have a sphere. It's basically like a ball. Okay, then we have our cone. Okay, so my cone shape. Then I have my cylinder. I have a cube. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see, but I got my cube. And then I have a rectangular prism. So here's what your job is. I want you to try and find things in your house that are these things. So I'm going to give you some examples. So here's my sphere. So a sphere is just simply like that ball. Okay, so I found a few things. So I found a cutie that was kind of shaped like a sphere. I found a little blow-up beach ball type thing that was smaller, but it's shaped like a sphere. Okay, and then the last thing I found was my daughter's volleyball. Okay, so I was able to find around my house 3 different things. So those are some examples, but I want you to try and find at least one thing that your parents are going to be okay for you using for a little while during our math lessons. Okay, so I want you to find one thing that is shaped like a sphere. Okay, the next thing I want you to look for is something that's shaped like a cone. Okay, so you're going to try and find something that's shaped like a cone. So I found 2 things. One of them being an ice cream cone, like what they talked about in the video. Okay, so an ice cream cone. And then I found like a little construction cone that goes to my little boy's things. Okay, his cone has like the little parts down at the bottom, but I can still kind of just ignore that bottom part and think about just the cone shape that's there. So that was in his little Playmobil stuff that I was able to find. Okay, the next thing I want you to look for is something that's a cube. Okay, so we're looking for something that's a cube. So one thing that I found was a dice from a board game. Okay, that's a cube. Okay, so a dice would be something that's really good for a cube. I also had a cubed Kleenex box. So this could be another thing that would be a cubed Kleenex box could work as well. All right. The next thing was a cylinder. So I was able to obviously just get a can. Okay, so I got a can from my pantry that is a cylinder shape. Okay, so it's got my faces, and then it has my vertices. There's no vertices, but we'll be talking about that. Okay, so I just found a can. And then the last one is a rectangular prism. Okay, so a rectangular prism. One thing that you could have gotten, which I didn't think of, and I saw it in the video, was a cereal box. That was a really good idea. So a cereal box could work. I also found a Kleenex box, another type of Kleenex box that's like rectangular prism. Okay, and then the last thing was I found like laundry detergent, the fabric softeners for your laundry. Okay, that it was in a rectangular prism as well. Okay, so your job today for math, which doesn't seem too hard, is to find for me something that represents all of those solid shapes, because it's going to help you a lot in our lessons. Since you guys can't physically have these that I have at school, you're going to need them at home in order to try and kind of find and be able to count the faces and the vertices and all of that kind of stuff on them. So I would like you to try today and find those things so that we are ready for our lesson tomorrow. And then please make sure that you're doing that 20 minutes of Redbird. All right, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Talk to you later.